Hey guys, I'm back with another video. Today we're doing What If Deku Was Abandoned Part 2. And this video is gonna probably on the shorter side because I kinda don't wanna go too far. I don't wanna go into the sports festival or anything. But like I just wanna do the hero versus villains and the UA attack, and that's kinda it. So I don't wanna go into like the UA because I don't have enough mental capacity, or I didn't have enough sleep to do that. So without further ado, let's get into this video. So we start off this what if at Deku waking up. We're seeing Nejire with a white shirt and her undergarments, so as Momo and Mei. He gets up, brushes his teeth, puts on his clothes, put his beanbag in one of his papers, and he goes to school. Because remember, he made food and left food there for them, and then went to school. From the last video, if you didn't see his like mansion, I'll show you it now. This is Deku's mansion. Anyways, Deku exits the door and he pondered using the car to get to school because Deku's rich. Remember that? Because he's technically 16 and he does have his license, but he decides not to do it because he just feels like using his technique and getting used to his wings is better. So he uses his paper to form wings at the back of his back. There are black and red wings, and he forms out the back of his back and he flies away. Not too long after that, Deku reaches to UA, opens the door, pulls out his beanbag, puts his hoodie over his head, and jumps in the big bag and starts to go to sleep. Not too long after that, Momo, Nejire, and Mei got up and saw that Deku was in there. Like always, they got ready and they saw the breakfast. They ate it. They ate it, and they were on their way to school using the car because it's only Deku that doesn't use the car. And the car, let's say it's a Ferrari. Let's just say it's a Ferrari. Like I don't know what to like classify that as. So Nejire is driving it. So she's old. This should be like 17, and like the rest of them are 16. But actually, Deku's he's the closest one to Nejire's age because he's been 16 for at least like half of the month. So half of the year. So for like he's been 16 for half of a year. So like he's the oldest out of all of the. Well, no, Nejire is older. Like, oh my god, I don't know how to explain this bullshit. All you need to know is that he's the same age as all of them. Well, he's not the same age. Nejire is older than him. Guys, if you understand what I'm saying, you understand what I'm saying. Like, they just get in the car and Nejire drives them to school. They park in the parking lot and just like they go into the classes. When Momo gets in the room, because she's like the only person that has a class with Deku, and when she gets in the room, she sees Deku, and she waves, and Deku's sleeping, so she goes over and like cuddles up next to like. She goes into his chair because like he's sleeping on like the floor in the corner. So like his chair that he was supposed to be on, he's on the floor in the big bag, leaning against the wall. So yeah. So she just really looking at him. The rest come into class, and it's been a few days. So it's been at least been a week, right? So they're accustomed to seeing Deku like that and see how lazy he really is. But like okay. So yeah, they see this, and Bakugo shouts and says, "Nerd, get up! School's ready." Deku would get up and look at Bakugo and look at him like, "The fuck you calling a nerd?" But hey, I'm not even gonna stress because I don't have enough time to do that. So Ozawa gets up and says that you'll be doing a hero exercise. Not with me, with All Might. So when Deku heard All Might, he instantly did not like this thing. So if you didn't know why Deku doesn't like this thing, you have not watched part one. So I believe you should go over, watch part one, and like get everything into motion, right? So Deku, they tell him to go and put. So then All Might comes in saying, "I'm walking in here like a hero." And when Deku sees All Might, he kind of tisses and just like doesn't really care and just sits back, just blends into the crowd. Wait, another ability that I failed to mention is that Deku can go invisible. I just never really mentioned it because it was insignificant, but he can because Conan's paper can also go invisible. So yeah, a camouflage, whatever you want to use. He's not going to get. I don't know how to put that. Damn it. So Deku gets up and he starts walking towards, and no, he didn't start walking. All Might like tells him that you have to put on to do hero work. You need to look like a hero and all that shit. So he presses the button and suitcase coming out for like all of them. All of them go to the changing room and yeah. So let's talk about Deku's costume. Deku is wearing a black hoodie with the kanji for hope, or the symbol of for hope, and the mask, like the mask that he had in canon, but there's like claw. It's like Kakashi's mask, but it's also a blend between Kakashi's mask and his mask that they had in canon. There's a blend between those two things, and he has on a hoodie and the sleeves of the hoodie reach to his. And it reached to his elbows. The sleeves of the hoodie reached to his elbows. And the mask has a faded out smile on it, like a spiky smile, like how Shinra smiles is. Yeah, it basically has that. And then from where the sleeve ends at the elbow, white bandages come down, and then he has like a red wristband with a golden pin on it, which is also red. Where he wears a long pants with army boots, with boots with black boots with red laces and red bottoms. Damn it! I fell into that trap. It's not red, but I don't know how to explain this shit. You know what I'm talking about, okay? So he comes out and like he doesn't have the mask on right now, but like he has it like under his chin or something, and like so they look at his costume. See, he's is a kind of a blend between a hero and a villain. So it's not villainish, but then it's not heroish at the same time. Like you said, they ask him why does he like want that particular suit and he says, well, the only way I could get a suit like this is because it has to be all black. Naturally, I would have wanted it green or something, but it is all because green is my favorite color, but dark green actually. But they couldn't do that because of my hair color. If you could tell, I kind of have black hair, and the suit is made out of my hair, and the white parts of the bandages are my gray hair that kind of dyed white. But it's not as easy as the black hair. So yeah, they understand that they don't really question it too much. And then All Might explains what they'll be doing, the hero versus villain. I'm gonna switch up something. Normally I would have just kept everything to canon, but I'm gonna switch it up. Because what I want Deku to do, he couldn't do as a hero in this one. So this time Bakugo and Ida would be heroes, and Deku and Uraraka would be villains. Deku would go up and set the bomb, but he would tell Uraraka to don't make any sounds. He then touches the bomb, and then he lets his paper run on the bomb, and it kind of goes invisible, and he puts it in the corner, where All Might and everyone could see that he did this. And then he made a copy of it using paper and placed it right there, making it look like exactly the same thing. So then Uraraka, he would tell Uraraka, just to play a safe measure, don't let, just float in the air so that Ueda doesn't see you. I have a nice surprise for him when he touches it. And he touched the fake bomb, and it kind of sparks a little bit, but not too much. So then he could hear Bakugo yelling, and then Deku says, "That's my cue," and he busts into paper. And then he appears right in front of Bakugo. Bakugo says, "You damn nerd, get here so I can kill you." And Deku says, "Try if you can." And Bakugo tries to hit Deku with an explosion, but Deku just turns into paper and reforms at Bakugo's back, and he kicks him in his back, sending Bakugo forward. Bakugo catches himself and he runs towards Deku again, but this time Deku doesn't let him let off the explosion. Before Bakugo could get in front of Deku run in front of Bakugo. Using his martial arts technique, he just glides his hand with Bakugo's gauntlet, pushing it out of his way or his vicinity, making him blow up the wall. Then Deku pointed out, that could have been someone's life. If you're not careful, Bakugo, you could have killed an innocent civilian, because they probably didn't know that they were a hero, a fight here, and they would just walked under that rubble. Bakugo would have gotten angry and start throwing more explosions towards Deku, but each time Deku would maneuver his hand just for Deku to hit the walls instead of him. Deku then appeared at the back of him and kicked him in the back again and said, "How does it feel to get your own medicine?" Bakugo would say, "What the hell you're talking about, nerd?" Deku would then look at him again and said, "How does it feel to feel your own medicine?" And at that time, paper would come out from Deku's body and cover his body, and then Deku would turn into a middle school Bakugo, and he would recite something that Bakugo said to him. He would have his foot would be on Bakugo's back, and Bakugo would be in the ground, and he would pick up Bakugo's legs, and he would say, You want to know a way to get stronger, Deku? Take a swan dive off the roof, and maybe in the next life you'll die. You'll get reincarnated with a quirk. When everyone heard that, they were stunned. Because it was obviously something Bakugo would say, with how his tone and how actually he produced him. Then Deku would say something again. Deku, you're worthless. Now I know why your parents abandoned you. Your quirk is worthless and weak. Deku would then undo his transformation. But Bakugo, it's not only you. It's your mentor too. Yeah. Don't feel like they didn't notice how you and All Might been interacting with each other. But master like student, I guess. And Deku would turn into All Might and says, Kid, you cannot be a hero. Your quirk is too weak. You'll just die, so stop it. Deku would turn back into himself again. Everyone would be shocked to hear the symbol of peace, All Might, say something like that to Deku. But then Deku would say, I never really cared for any of that, or never cared for you, All Might, or no one in general. The only person I care about is Momo, Hachime, and Neri, and Nero. Nejire. So Deku would then say, you're worthless, Bakugo. You always that, so I don't really care. And at that exact time, you would hear a boom. And it would be Ida he touched the bomb, and Deku set an explosive on the bomb to particularly make So when he told Uraraka not to do anything, but she trusted Deku, and Deku therefore knocked out Ida with the explosion. So Bakugo then says, "I never get defeated for you, you damn nerd. I don't care what I said. I was right. Your quirk is useless. At that time, though, it seems your quirk is more volatile than I thought it was. But you're still weak. Damn nerd. I'm gonna blow you to smithereens." Bakugo would then take out the pin out of his gauntlets and try to hit Deku with a full max explosion. Also enhanced with his explosion with One for All, breaking his hand in the process. He would blow half of the building off, and everyone thought that Deku would have died. And all of them were shocked to see. Then Deku just reconfigured himself at the back of Bakugo and said, "Like always, you're weak." Deku would kick him in the back again. And then he would say, "Let's show you my true power, Bakugo. Let's show you how weak you are to me anyways." Deku would then take out 4 cards. He would say, "My cards are sharp as razor." He would then throw one of his cards at him that would land in Bakugo's skin. He would take out another card and say, "My other card is acid. Burns off the skin, and if I willed it to, kill you and melt your bones clean." He would then throw it at Bakugo, landing on Bakugo's skin and make him cry out in pain. Then, "My paper is also hot as fire, and it is fire, the embodiment. But it's weird though, it's red, but I don't really care." And he would pass it towards Bakugo again, making his skin burn once again. He would say, "My other card is lightning." He would throw the lightning card at him, shocking Bakugo. He would then say, "My other card is cold as ice." And then it would then Deku would throw the card, and it would land on Bakugo's arm, freezing his arm. And this particularly would surprise Todoroki. Then Deku would say, and then there's the last one. Well, not the last one in particular. The last one we used to hurt you. Then there's this poison. I could make you kill. I could erase your quirk. Well, not erase your quirk, but dampen it using the quirk dampening poison. I could make you paralyzed from the waist down, make you paralyzed in general, kill you, make your respiratory system ineffective, make your bodily fluids ineffective, belly destroyed. I could do a lot of things to you, but then he would throw the poison at him. But then there's one thing that I could do that could help other people. He would then say healing cord, and he would throw it towards Bakugo, and all of Bakugo's injuries that Deku just put on him would go away. But his stamina would be quite drained, and Bakugo could not stand up. And Deku, just for safe measure, he would take out Bakugo's arm and slam it into his knee, breaking Bakugo's arm. And then he would do those 2 things to his feet also to make sure that he couldn't get up. And you were never one to play by the rules, so even if I wrapped you up in the tape, you would still come towards me. So I'm just taking measures. I'm sorry if it hurts. Well, not really. I'm not really sorry. I just have to say that. So, yeah, tough. And he would just leave. And this is where All Might would announce that the hero side won, and all the other fights went again. It doesn't really matter to me. I just need to go through that one. Let's talk about Momo's suit for a bit, because she has a boyfriend and she loves her boyfriend, so she kind of knows that her outfit is a little too showy, and she can't control that because again she does need a thin layer of clothes to make her tools. But then Deku would tell her, "I could peel off your skin and heal it back instantly so you wouldn't feel any pain. So you could make something that's not close to your skin, but it's still suitable." But Mo would say that is it really, really, really gonna hurt? Deku would say no with just a blank look on his face, like he always has. And he would knock her out with a knockout poison and peel off of her skin. This was before. Peel off her skin and heal it back instantly so she didn't feel any pain. And she wouldn't feel anything when she waked up. And when she waked up, she saw like her skin, and Deku was packing it up and sent it to UA and explaining what her quirk is and why she had to peel off her skin. So like, yeah, it's the only idea I could think of at the time. So her all the things that she had on her skin is like on her costume is just a bit longer and have tights under her like hood, like outfit and all that. So yeah. Now Momo has like increased her quirk. She's she's researched how poison works, and she's able to create poison out of her skin now because yeah. So she can use poison now. So like yeah. So then they go back and they say I bet, and everyone goes back to class and they do school, and then lunch comes around and Deku skips everyone and says I'm going to that scholarship line, bro. And he gets the most food and just sits back down and starts eating. And this time he actually sits down with the class, and Momo is like sitting like on his lap, and Deku's just like eating, and she kind of eats some of his food, and he looks at her like, "What the fuck did you just do? Eat my food? You have a whole plate of salad there. You better go back and eat your old food." I never understood about this girl. They say they're not hungry, but then they still eat your food, and this is going to Deku's mind and be like, how dare you? Like, how dare you eat my food like that? But he brushes it off and kind of feeds her sometimes. And then Nejire and May come over and start talking with Class 1A. They find out that May is in the spy course, which she's also technically a hero, but like she's not. And she describes her suit. Basically, she has Black Widow's suit. She has Black Widow's suit now. So basically that. So now let's explain something. Her hair or her design, she still have her target light eyes, but she has flat pink hair this time. Kind of like Sakura's, but better because she's not useless. I haven't done a Naruto what if in a while. Now that I think about it, it's the only Naruto what I've been doing now is like Madara's Legacy. No, not Madara's Descendant. Damn. Anyways, Deku just sighs and they find out Nejire is a third year. Wait, would she be a third year now? I think she's a third year. I think. No. Is she a third year? No. When they met Deku and all of them, she was in. No, she is a third. She is a third year still. She's a third. Wait, no, she isn't a third year. Fucking bitch. Whatever. I'm not gonna ponder on my head too much about it because my brain capacity is not that high. So I'm not gonna exude the effort to try. So she goes over, talks to them, and all of she does, and the bell rings, and the like crowd still happens. Now I failed to mention who's the class president. Now obviously the most candidate would be Deku, since he's the smartest and the strongest in their class, and he has like a good strategic plan sometimes, and they saw that in the exams because like he instantly thought of a way to trick Bakugo and like trick Bakugo and Ida, and he would tell them that to be honest, who wants a lazy what's call it now, a lazy class president, really. Oh, and then Aizawa pitched in and said, actually, kid, aren't you a part of the student council? And Deku would look at him and say, student what? And then said it came with your your scholarship, you instantly got a seat on the student council. With Nejire, Mirio, and the big three, and like some others, low class students that we don't give a fuck about are in. And Deku's like, ooh. And yeah, I was supposed to give you a paper on it. I remember it now. And just he gives Deku a paper on it. I says they're supposed to meet today. And Deku's like, the fuck? And he's like, hey, why you didn't tell me all this earlier? I could have caught up on some more ZZ this morning. God damn it. And he excused himself and he had to go to like the student council. So they start talking about all how the school is doing it. It's pretty boring for him. Like, he doesn't really care. And he's a genius, so like he finds there's no reason in this. And they kind of like ask him a question like, yo, you smart or dumb? And Deku will look at him and ask, what do you mean by that? So they would start explaining, like, normally when they're really strong people, they're pretty much dumbheads. And which I expect from you. Deku would say, I know. Who? Me? Deku looked at them and says, who the fuck you think you're talking to? But he didn't say this out loud. He just like looks at them and just like, they then tell him to solve a question which they can't even answer. And Deku was like, yo, that's basic wrestle math. And he just does it. And it wasn't basic math. This is basic math to him, but to them, this was years of fucking work. And they're like, I know. And Deku just leaves, and he's not about to take their shit. And Nejire, before he leaves, gives him a kiss on the lips, and he leaves. And they go back to what they were doing. So, yeah. Now it's time for the USJ. Anyways, so Deku would wake up in the morning, like I said, brush his teeth. But before he got to get up to like go into bed this morning, Momo, May, and Nejire grabbed Deku and forced him back on the bed, and they started to kind of bite his ear, and Nejire started to like kiss him, right? Now from here, I'm just give you a quick disclaimer. It's not the best of content, and I just need to notice that there will be some cooking in the kitchen, and if you're ready for that, you may leave. I label my videos not for children, so if you go on with your discretions. It is not my care nor my concern what happens to you. Just know it's not my fault. From here, you must leave. You must go on your own path and find your own spices, and you must go and make your own sauce. But I'm not taking responsibility for your lack of ingredients, right? So if you understand anything I said just now, I'll try to keep it wholesome because this is a warning. So yeah. So they pull him down, they start biting his ear, and they start slowly undressing Deku. Then he kind of like he puts his hand down into Nejire's like undergarments. Or no, I can say you shouldn't be hearing right now. Panties. He puts his hands down in her panties, and he's giving. I don't know how to like. He's fingering her. Like that's basically what it is. I'm just gonna leave it as that. He's fingering her basically, and she's moaning, and they Momo and May are like fingering themselves. Like they're having their time, and Deku like pushes her down to the ground, and Momo gets on top of Nejire, and they fall on each other, and Deku like puts it in between them, in between both of their peaches or pussies, whatever you want to say, and he goes back and forth, and Nejire is kissing Deku, and yeah. Then Deku just sticks it inside of Momo, and just yeah. He pushes down May and kisses May, and starts like feeling her up and going in. He's thrusting his body into her vital organs, right? And just like going dirty. Then his alarm clock goes off, and he presses it, and he gets dressed. They go to the bath. They bathe with him, finish off a little bit of their work, give him that Gog 9000, and they get together. They get ready, get dressed, they make food, and they go. No, they on their way to school. They buy food and they eat it. Then they go to school because they didn't have time to make food because they were kind of late because he been getting that guac 9000 three different ways, bro. Like he yeah, okay, yeah. Right. So he goes back home and he goes a little distance. I don't know how to say this. Like he goes home. He puts in that work. He's like holding like Momo's like ass in class because she's close to him and she's like standing up behind her, be like standing at the side of him, and like he's like he's just like playing around there and just like fingering her basically. It's basically what he's doing, and she has a blush on her face, but she's like biting her lip, and no one really notices it, so they just like play off as like she has the flu or something. And me and Ashley is like, Momo, you okay? You sick or something? And she's like, nah, I'm good. And she's like holding in her composure, right? And Deku finally stops and he goes on with his work, puts back on his white hoodie, and listening. As always says, we'll be going off campus today to the USJ. And they all pack up, get the hero suits. Deku puts on his, and he drippy, he stay drippy, always drippy, right? So they end up going. They start talking about Deku and his quirk, and says how he figured out his quirk could do so much. He told him at first his quirk was weak, and that's what it was, plain and simple. But his quirk hit Calamity Point, and Calamity Point is where a quirk hits its genetic gene, where it's at released at its full potential. Only like 3 people in history has awoken this part, and it's more assessive to the human evolution gene. So basically, Deku is telling them that basically his quirk reached Calamity Point. That doesn't happen too often, and he's not even being one of the generation of Calamity. So it's weird, but they understand and say that's so cool and all of that. So they get into the USJ, and instantly when Kirigiri gets out of there, Deku is gone. He's not down there. He's nowhere to be found. He's on top of he's on top of a dragon. A dragon, like it looks like a dragon, but it's just black with red talisman, with yellow eyes, with red kanji on it, all over its body, and swaying its wings. And Deku would say, complete Ice Age. And then papers would fly from Deku's back, and it would land on all the 150 villains, freezing them solid. Todoroki would see this, and he would say, what incredible power. Deku would then look at the Nomu and say, you're going to be a problem for me. You have to die. Sorry. You don't have a conscience or nor soul. Well, you do have a soul, but you don't have a conscience. You only follow orders, so bye. And he would send papers toward him. He would say, supernova. He would then add his fire explosion, and acid into that Nomu at the same time, completely obliterating it, sending it up in the air, so it doesn't hurt anyone, and completely obliterating everything. Shigaraki would be angry and try to rush towards Deku, and just Kirigiri would say, no, be leaving now. And he just teleports Shigaraki out of there. Deku cleaned up all of them in mere seconds. And guess what he would do to Shigaraki? If he saw him as a threat, or saw him something that he had to take out, he could kill him easily at that fact. So everyone sees this, and they see how really powerful Deku really is. He's lazy, yes, but that does not coincide with his power. He's on his own league. And all, and let's say this was broadcasted, like the first real assessment that they were taking was broadcasted, and everyone sees Deku in action and sees what he can do, and they're so shocked. But two people know about this person, know who this person is, and one person is shocked, and the other person is grateful to see that her child is doing okay and survived. This is Inko and Hiyashi. Now, the reason why Deku, because obviously Inko's been sending like letters to the orphanage. The reason why Deku has not gotten those letters, or he has not really gone for them, because he knows they're there, but he doesn't feel like going for them. And the way he only got those letters were, if you watch the first part, is if he let the nurse, if that nurse gave him guac 9,000, like she forced herself on him. Actually, she's pretty young. Actually, she's not some old ass bag. She pretty fine, but she has a thing with kids, and Deku was a handsome kid at that. So Deku, for the first time in his ever, decides he's gonna face his like fears, because he absolutely feared this woman. There was no person in that orphanage that he feared more than her, and that was a clear fact. No matter how hard exterior his was, how blank he could make his face, he was always scared of this woman. So Deku would go, and he would like he would tell Momo and Nejire and May what happened. Now they had a week off from UA, and they would understand, and they would be pretty angry at this woman. Like, they took this man's virginity from them. So, anyways, so they get up and like they go to the orphanage. The Q has a shiver sent down his spine, and he's kind of, yeah, he's scared. Yeah, I'm just gonna put it at that point. He's scared. He doesn't even know why. He knows he could kill her at any point. It's not like just fear. It was fear that was instilled in him. Like, right? Let me explain it. Right? I have an aunt. Right? She's way older than me. She can't really do anything now, but like, I still fear her to this day for like the fear that she instilled in me as a child. So, I still fear her, although I know she can't do anything to me. So if you understand where I'm coming from, yeah. So Deku waits at the orphanage, and he comes there. He sees her, and she sees him, and she kind of licks her lips. And by no means this woman is ugly. She is fine, and she's wearing a nun outfit and all. She comes up to Deku and says, "I feel like I've seen you somewhere." Deku is just looking at her, and you couldn't tell by his facial expression, but in his mind, he is scared AF, and he just says, "I'm Izuku Midoriya." She would gain a smile on her face when she heard that exact name. She would start talking and saying, how do you do, Midoriya?" And she would kind of bite his ear and says, "I know what you came for, and there's only one way to get them. I believe you know what that is, Izuku Midoriya." Deku would kind of grit his teeth, but you couldn't see it because his mouth was closed. But he sighed, and the girls tried to protest, but he said he just wants his letters back. It's no big deal, and they start calling with her like that's their man. But Deku just says, just want my letters. I'll just get in and like go." And Deku gets up and he goes into one of the empty, well, no, let's say the lunchroom, right? So they go in the lunchroom, and she locks the door, and she starts pulling off her clothes, her nun outfit in. But Deku just rushes her and just like puts her on the table and says, as she says, "Oh, you're rough, huh? And Deku just says, I'm just trying to get this over with. And he pulls up like her nun dress and pulls off her panties. He doesn't like take them off. He just like rips them off and just like skirt. And just he put it in her, and she her tongue is on. She kind of like crying because he put it in the second hole, not the hole it's supposed to go in. He put it in the second hole. He's gonna have his fun with it. He wants to pay back, but he's also still scared. So like he puts it in, and he grabs her hair because she has long hair. He grabs it tight, and she's just enjoying it. He then takes it out and just like lifts her up and put her on the counter and just starts kissing her and like sucking her neck, giving her hickeys. He kind of like puts her on the ground and just like starts going from there and just like fucking the hell out of her. And he's like pulling her head back, kissing her. Now she sees this as him being rough, but he's kind of being a little bit more aggressive than he actually does be. And she just thinks this is a normal thing of his, but it's not. It's just like him. So he then sits on a chair and tells her to crawl to him. And at this point, she's basically become his bitch. Like she got owned, right? So she crawls over to him and she starts giving Deku that guac 9000, if you know what I mean. She tongue twisting and everything. Let's say she has a slight healing quirk. So when Deku like nuts in her mouth, she just reheals his like to the point where it was like full, and she goes at it again. So they go on for this at least for like hours on end, and Deku just taps out at that point. She can't use her quirk anymore. She's tired AF, and she just gives him the keys to the locker where his letters are. And he gets up, puts on his clothes, takes a bath. Let's say there's a bathroom right next to that. He takes a bath and puts on fresh clothes and just like, because he knew this was gonna happen, and he just like goes get his letters and go out. But that's where I'm gonna leave off this video, guys. Like it was a pretty short one over most of my videos, but I'm sorry. It's how things are right now. So see you guys. That'd be it for me today.